Good morning, thank you very much for joining me. I hope everybody's having a good week. Today's video is a Meals of the Week video, and I'm doing it in collaboration with 3 other lovely ladies on YouTube, Carla, Kirsten and Karin. We're all doing Meals of the Week videos and they're all published today, and the links to their videos are in my description box, so when you finish watching this one, do go and check the other videos out. And if you don't know those ladies already, you may want to subscribe to their channels and let them know in the comments that you've come from here, that I've sent you over there. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into the cooking and see what I had for dinner last week. Good evening and welcome to day 1 of What's for Dinner. I'm gonna just say once in this video, please excuse the horrible yellow light in my kitchen. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately, when I film these videos in autumn and winter, it's dark outside. They're much better in the spring when we have proper daylight, but we just have to work with what we've got, people. So let's get into what's for dinner tonight. And I'm doing a new recipe. It's Monday, so it's meat-free Monday, and I'm doing a recipe from this book, which I've talked about and shown you before. I absolutely love this book, The Green Roasting Tin. It's all vegetarian and vegan. It's all easy, and it's all one pot. What's not to like? So I'll link this book in the description box below. I really highly recommend it. And tonight I am cooking this, which is all-in-one sticky rice with broccoli, squash, chilli and ginger, and that's what it's going to look like. And in this recipe we have got a can of coconut milk, some ginger, some jasmine rice, some cashew nuts which I need to toast. The recipe calls for butternut squash, but I bought this, which is butternut squash and sweet potato, on the basis that I often use butternut squash and the rest of it ends up sitting in the fridge till it goes off. So I didn't want to buy a whole one, and this was about the right amount with the sweet potato for this recipe, so I decided to buy it like this to avoid any waste. We've also got a garlic clove down here. We've got some broccoli, which is a little bit past its best and needs using up. We've got some coriander, we've got some soy sauce, we've got some toasted sesame oil. It calls for sesame oil for the dressing, but I've only got toasted sesame oil, so that will have to do. Some lime juice and a red chilli. So that's what we're working with. I'm going to start by making up the dressing, which is sesame oil, lime juice, soy sauce, ginger, red chilli finely chopped and coriander finely chopped. So I'm going to make that, and it says cooking takes an hour, so I'm going to prep everything now and then start cooking it a little bit later on. I've made up the dressing. Looks a bit unappetizing, doesn't it? But it tastes quite nice, but I just feel like it needs a little bit of sweetness in it. So I'm going to add just half a teaspoon of demerara sugar into that, just to give it a little bit of sweetness. It's got sort of Thai flavours, the ginger and the chilli and the soy sauce, and yeah, it tastes really nice. But I'm just going to sweeten it up a little bit with some demerara. Right, so I've chopped my veg. I'm now just toasting these cashew nuts. I've chopped them a little bit, or actually I've bashed them with the rolling pin, let's be honest. So I'm just going to toast those lightly. It suggests in the recipe that you add them into the oven with at the end of the cooking of the main dish, but I'll probably forget to do that, or else put them in and then forget about them. So I'd rather just do them in the pan now, than they're ready to go onto the top when I serve up. It all looks pretty simple actually. I've got to mix the rice, coconut milk, some soy, ginger and garlic in a roasting tin, and then I add the squash onto the top of it, cover it and put into the oven and cook for 45 minutes, and then add the broccoli and for another 15 minutes, and then add the dressing, tip the dressing onto the dish, mix it in, serve it, add the toasted cashew nuts on the top, and we're done. And that's it. I think it's going to be really nice. I actually sounded a little bit not overwhelmed by it, but he's not enthusiastic about vegetarian food at the best of time anyway, so we might find that he's pleasantly surprised. Let's see. Right, this is what it looks like. It's sort of like a baked risotto. So you've got the rice mixed with the coconut milk, soy sauce, ginger and garlic, and then the butternut squash and sweet potato on the top, and I'm going to cover that in foil tightly and bake it for 45 minutes, no, 45 minutes. Okay, it's come out. It smells amazing. It's, oh sorry, you're steaming up. How do people do these cooking videos without steaming up? Yeah, it smells really good and it looks like the rice is cooked. I've now just got to put the broccoli over the top for 15 minutes and seal it back up again. And then we are good to go. And here it is served up. It looks pretty nice and smells pretty good. Not sure what Ashley's going to think, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. I'll let you know what it was like. Good evening and welcome to day 2 of Meals of the Week. Are we calling it that, or what's for dinner? Oh, I'm not sure what we're calling it yet. Quite an easy one tonight, not much in the way of recipes. We are having some haggis. We like haggis in this house. We usually have it in January, somewhere around Burns Night, which I'm ashamed to admit that I don't know exactly when Burns Night is, but it's somewhere around, wanting to say like just after mid-January. But anyway, it was on special offer in Tesco's last week, so I picked it up. So we are having haggis. I'm going to do some mashed potato with it, some green beans and some mashed swede and carrot. Ashley is not a fan of mashed swede and carrot, but I really like it. We very rarely have it, but I do like it, and particularly with haggis, and I'm obviously going to do some gravy with it as well. It's all super easy really, so I'm going to get my potatoes and carrots peeled and get everything ready to go. I don't know how long this takes to cook actually. 45 minutes it's saying, so right, just get organised now. It's the first time I've ever bought diced swede, but I have to say it's much easier than cutting a swede up, and it was actually cheaper than buying a whole swede. And whenever I buy a whole swede, I end up with half a swede going off in my fridge because it's not something we eat that often. So I've used loads of carrots as well. I've used the whole packet of swede, and I'm going to bring that to the boil. And although I'm not going to use all of it, I'm going to freeze a couple of portions once I've mashed it with some butter and salt and pepper. So I'll have a couple of portions in the freezer, which will be nice. Right, my mashed potato is mashed with some milk, some butter, some salt, white pepper and some whole grain mustard. I like the look of it with whole grain mustard in it. It makes it look a little bit less beige, doesn't it? And this is tonight's dinner. I'm trying not to get the lens steamed up. Haggis, mashed carrot and swede, mustard mash, green beans. That's mine. That's Ashley's, and we've got some gravy to go with it as well. Looks yummy. I've just remembered that I said I would update you on last night's dinner, the vegetarian one. Vegan, in fact. Ashley was enraged when I told him it was vegan rather than just vegetarian. I'm only joking. He really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. It was quite filling actually. Yeah, he really enjoyed it. He had 2 portions, seconds, so it must have gone down well. Good evening and welcome to Thursday's dinner. The astute amongst you will no doubt have noticed that it's not Wednesday. We've missed out Wednesday. The reason we've missed out Wednesday was because we went off plan. I was out all day yesterday with Carla and Lex up in Burnham-on-Sea, and I didn't get back till about 6 o'clock. The traffic was awful. They're doing some road works, and ended up sitting in rush hour traffic for quite a long time. And I'd also had a great big lunch while I was out. Sorry, I'm just moving to rest my elbow. Yeah, I had quite a big lunch, so I wasn't really hungry yesterday evening, and I wasn't really in the mood to cook. So we ended up, Ashley had some spaghetti bolognese out of the freezer, or some bolognese out of the freezer, and cooked some spaghetti to go with it. And I had a tuna and tomato and cheese toasty. So there was no dinner to show you really last night, so that's why we didn't have Wednesday. So back to Thursday. This evening I am doing one of my Simply Cook recipes. Simply Cook is, I made a video about it, but basically it is a meal subscription service whereby you get a box, you choose your meals, you buy your own fresh ingredients, and what you get is a menu card with the instructions and shopping list on the back, and you get 4 in a box. And you get a packet with, inside you get 3 little spice mixes. In here we've got a, sorry, I should probably tell you the dinner is sheep kebabs and gunpowder potatoes. That's what it looks like. And in here for this recipe we have a sheep kebab paste, a gunpowder seasoning and a masala chutney. You get, as I say, you can go on the website, you choose 4 meals, you get them delivered whenever you like. You can go have them once a week. I get mine once a month. We generally eat one of these meals a week, I would say, roughly. And what I really like about Simply Cook is A, you buy your own fresh ingredients, so if you want to change something, for example, this recipe calls for beef mince and I've decided to go with lamb mince because I just decided I didn't really want beef. We've had quite a lot of beef recently and I quite fancied it with lamb mince. So you choose your own fresh ingredients. It gives you an idea of what to cook. That meal planning thing where you're thinking, oh God, what should I cook is so boring, isn't it? So I really like this. I've been doing it for, about 1.5 years, I want to say, possibly even a little bit more. I did stop it for a while and then restarted again, and they changed up the recipes as well. It was getting a little bit samey, but they've added loads and loads of new meals onto the website now, which is great. I do have I think I've got a link for getting your first box for £1. So I'll leave that in the description box if I can find it for you. In the meantime, let's look at what we have got for dinner. So for this recipe, this is what it's supposed to look like when I make it. And we've got some fresh lamb mince, some baby potatoes, a bag of mixed salad, some Greek yogurt, a red onion, some spring onions, some coriander. That's the other half of the packet of coriander we used for something else on Monday, I think. And the spices that go with it. So it looks like I need some kebab sticks as well. I do hope I've got some. Yes, see how organised I am. That was quite impressive, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to read through this and see what I need to do, and I'll come back to you shortly. Bit of a fail here, guys. Look, I've made the kebabs. They all look really nice. And then I realised I hadn't mixed the paste in that I was supposed to mix in. Can tell I'm tired. Can tell it's getting towards the end of the week. It's been a very hectic week this week. So I'm going to take them off their sticks, put them back in the bowl, and mix them with the paste and put them back on their sticks. Could do without this, to be honest, but hey, that's what happens when you don't read the instructions properly and you're distracted by watching YouTube. Right, take 2. Slightly more messy this time. Kebabs ready to go into the oven with their spicy paste in. I've also added the third, what was it called? The chat masala chutney. I've mixed that with some Greek yogurt and I've put that into 2 little bowls to serve on the side. And I've weighed out 500 grams of potatoes. It's actually just under, it's 450 grams because that looked like quite a lot for 2 people to me. Ready to cook a bit later on. Right, I've boiled and crushed the potatoes and mixed them with the potato spice mix and a little bit of oil. And I'm going to do them in the air fryer rather than the oven. I think they'll come out quite nice and crispy in the air fryer. So I'm going to get those on. And the kebabs are in here. They are starting to smell delicious. And here is tonight's dinner. Beef kebabs with crushed spicy potatoes, yogurt with chutney, some sort of chutney, can't remember what it was, masala chutney. Looks really delicious, and I've done a little side salad to go with it there. Yum. I almost forgot to film tonight's dinner. We are having a Cajun Hasselback chicken with, I think, rice and a tomato, sort of a spicy tomato and red pepper sauce, probably, I think. But we're starting off with 2 chicken breasts here that I've defrosted, and in here I've got a mixture of, if we can focus, Cajun seasoning, so that with some tablespoon of oil, some garlic, some salt and pepper, and just a few breadcrumbs as well. And I'm gonna put the chicken into that so it's covered, and then I'll come back to you. Right, so I've put the chicken breasts into the Cajun breadcrumb mix, and then I've made little slices down the chicken breast, not all the way through, and popped in peppers and spicy Mexicana cheese, which is that one. I've got some extra peppers there as well because they got cross-contaminated with the chicken, so it looks quite delicious. Not had this before. It was a recipe I found a little video of on the internet, so I thought I would give it a try. Right, I've made a tomato sauce. I'm sorry I haven't done a step-by-step tonight. I'm not in a very chatty mood this evening. Not had a great day. But tomato sauce is 1 chopped onion, a couple of bits of leftover chopped pepper from the chicken, tin of tomatoes, little tiny bit of cream, some chilli flakes, a little bit of sweet chilli dipping sauce, tiny bit of tomato ketchup and seasoning. And I'm just going to cook that down. It's quite chunky, so I might blitz it in the blender, I'll see. I might not. Don't know yet. I'll cook it down for a bit and see what I feel like when it's done. And dinner is served. It looks quite yummy. There's rice, there's chicken, there's tomato sauce, and there's a little bit of the extra peppers with Cajun breadcrumbs. Good evening. Welcome to our final meal for this video. Tonight I am doing a recipe from, well, I'm plagiarising a recipe from this Fay Ripley book, which I showed in my recent library book haul, which I'll link above in case you haven't seen it. And I thought this sounded lovely. It looks lovely, and it's called Aaron's Amazing Feta Bacon and Courgette Pesto Pasta. It's 5 ingredients. It's not in the recipe here. It is in my world. She makes her own pesto. Now that's not something I'm going to do midweek, and frankly the afternoon I've had, definitely not making my own pesto, so I'm doing it slightly differently. There's Ashley. We've got some streaky bacon, we've got some ready-made pesto, we've got some feta cheese, some tagliatelle and a courgette, and we're going to start by frying off some bacon. Right, so I've cooked the bacon and I'm going to leave that to cool, and then we crumble it and we leave the fat from cooking the bacon in the pan, and we're going to cook the courgette ribbons in that a little bit later on. Right, I've cut the courgette into ribbons with the potato peeler, and they need to fry in there till they're a little bit charred on the edges. And I've got the pasta on there. Right, these have just started to go a little bit brown at the edges, as you can see. So, and I've chopped up the bacon here. I've also chopped up the feta into cubes, and basically we just wait for the pasta to be done and then mix everything else in. Simple as anything, so if it's tasty, it's going to be a really nice, quick, easy dinner. And that really was ridiculously simple. Barely even a recipe if you don't make your own pesto. Looks nice. I'm just going to warm it back up again, having mixed it all on there, and then serve it. And here it is, looking quick, simple, and pretty tasty. Well, that brings us to the end of the cooking video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this type of video and you'd like to see more sort of cooking, meals of the week, that sort of thing, do let me know. And I will endeavour to do more of this. As I said, go and visit the other ladies. The links to their videos are in the description box, and let them know that I sent you over. Or not sent you over, let them know that you came from my channel. I'm not sending anybody anywhere. That's the wrong way of wording it, isn't it? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.